All right. Oh, there you are. Hanging out behind me.
Hi.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just scoot over a little bit there. Yeah, there we good. Yeah, got a dove over my shoulder.
Yes, there we go.
All right. Well, as I was saying earlier, bird of the day is last few weeks we've been going through Susie's color wheel. We've colored the Amakihi, we've colored the pink robin, the violet saberwing, the cock of the rock. Well, we got down to our final bird of Susie's color wheel. It's a wonderful bird. It's kind of a water bird, kind of not a water bird. They're goofy looking, but they're pretty. We like them. Today's bird of the day is the Pukeko. Look at that Pukeko. That was the dark blue bird on the color wheel. Because, look at them. Pretty dark blue.
Strong legs.
Oh, they got some strong legs. They got some big, amazing legs there. And I love that. I love how their beak kind of goes up up on their forehead like that. That's a really cool look. They're very pretty, very cool bird. Kind of a big bird too. Let's learn a little bit more about them. So the funny thing is that these birds live entirely on the two big islands of New Zealand. But despite that, they're also known as the Australian swamp hen, despite that there not being any native Pukeko left in Australia. There's none there. They're all in New Zealand, yet they're the Australian swamp hen. I don't know how that works, but it's how it works. They're about a 15 to 20 inch long bird, and that actually is pretty big when you consider that they don't have much of a tail, because that length always includes from like tip of beak to end of tail. And so like, some birds, like you got a pheasant or something, it's like, oh, that's a super long bird. Okay, yeah, but like more than half of that is a tail. These guys have short tails, so 15 to 20 inches is actually a pretty big bird. And a 30-inch wingspan, so that gives you a good thing. It's like, it's a pretty decent-sized bird. So this is going to be like maybe a little bit smaller, smaller than a goose, bigger than a duck. It's kind of where you're going to be in the size range for these fellas. Weighing about 1.9 to 2.4 pounds, and the males tend to be about 20% bigger than the females. But that's kind of where the differences end. They are not dimorphic in terms of their colorations. So the females are going to be that same bright blue with the same red beak, just like the males. So I always like that. I always like that when the ladies look very pretty too. So they have a lifespan of about 9 years. Maybe sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. But, 9 years is what their expected average lifespan is going to be. And they're in the order alongside cranes and rails. And so they're actually a type of rail. A rail being a, family of birds. That, they're kind of like water birds. But then, like, unlike, they're not the kind of water bird that, they're more of a wading bird. They're not, because, they don't have webbed feet. So they're not diving, they're not doing stuff that. They're going to sit in very shallow water and peck at stuff. That's what they do. Now, the interesting thing here with their mating rituals is that it's not consistent. Oh, hold on, I got a sneeze coming. Hey, achoo! Hi, sneezy bird. Thank you. So they have found mating couples, especially when there's smaller populations, that end up being monogamous. Male and female raise their bit chicks together. So they've seen that happen. They've seen one where it's like they'll change a couple times per season. But the most common form that we see is polygynandrous. And polygynandrous is kind of the situation where you have a larger group of females and a few very, very lucky males. And what happens is those very, very lucky males will mate with many of the females, and there's really kind of often no ways of knowing who the actual father is, because she's going to mate with a couple different males, and the males are going to mate with a bunch of different females. It's all over the place. But then what happens is that they nest communally. So there'll be, depending on the size of the flock, there will be either one or up to 3 or 4 nests. And several females will all lay their eggs in the same nest. So you could have a single female laying 4 to 6 eggs, but then there could be 18 eggs in one nest. And then
that's crazy.
But then the other crazy thing is the male who mated with the females the most that have laid those eggs, that male's going to do the incubation. So dad incubates like babies from a bunch of different baby mamas. So isn't that cool? Like the dad's doing the incubation, which is, I mean, for the polygonandrous, that is really, really unusual to have females laying into communal nest and then a male doing the incubation. That's almost unheard of. So, God, that's cool. And then once the babies are born, they don't tend necessarily with their whole parents. They stick with the entire flock, and every member of the flock is going to help raise and protect and feed every one of those babies. Now, the babies do end up being a little bit independent. Like those first few days, they need a lot of help and they need to be fed, but they learn how to forage on their own pretty quickly. You see, look, got a little baby down there. You little cute baby.
Like that his feet are so big compared to his
like,
body.
I'm a cute little fuzzball, and I have these monstrous claws. I think they're pretty cute. He's a cute little guy. Yeah, the whole group cares for the whole community. It takes a village with these folks, and I really like that. But that also helps, helps keep their chick mortality rates down pretty low. Because, when you got all the adults helping protect all the babies, it's good for the babies. And they will fight. They are very territorial. If there's babies around, I mean, basically, if you're a United States citizen, you'll understand how vicious Canada geese can be when there's chicks around. Yeah, these guys are very much the same. They will aggressively attack and fight anybody that they see as a threat, even other flocks of Pukeko. So, like, they're going to have their own little flock, but another flock of Pukeko comes around, they'll be like, hey, this is our territory, get the hell away. And, yeah, so they can be known for being quite vicious. In fact, we've got a video demonstrating this. Here. And you can actually see a little baby.
Everybody's heard about the bird.
We got a raid!
Bird's a word, when a bird, bird, bird. Bird is a word, when a bird, bird, bird. When a bird is a word.
Well, welcome, Revenants. You're just in time for Bird of the Day. Oh, yeah, we're actually...
water.
Oh, we gotta drink some water. Everybody drink some
Okay.
water. But yeah, here we have the Pukeko that are not happy, because there's a little baby there, and they are not happy with this big human invading their space.
Hi, Rev.
Okay, they're kind of little squeakers. So welcome, Revenants. So today we are talking about the Pukeko. The Pukeko is a crane-type bird, more specifically a rail, that lives in New Zealand. And they, look at them there. They're pretty. So they're called the Pukeko. But yeah, welcome, Revenants. Welcome, Raiders. We were actually watching in a little bit on your stream. I put it up on the big screen because I had to show my intro with me and Rodney. So yeah, we love Revenants. Revenants was actually my second ever guest on Sunday Desk. He was one of the early ones. But yeah. Everybody, I'm Corvus Twig, and this beautiful dove behind me is Dovely, and we're talking about the Pukeko today. It's my Bird of the Day segment. So, well, a little bit more about these birds. They are mostly vegetarian, so you would think that's like, hey, it's a bird that sits in shallow water and pecks at stuff. They must love eating fish. Actually, what their favorite foods are like little bits of seaweed and grasses and stuff that happen to grow near or in water. That's their favorite snacks. Now, they will sometimes eat small things like frogs or insects or things like that, but their diet is about 95% vegetarian. They tend to eat more insects and other animals when they're chicks because they need extra protein to grow up and be big, strong birds. But yeah, as adults, they're mostly vegetarian, which is unusual for a wading bird such as the Pukeko. And as you were seeing in that clip there, and as you've probably seen from most of these things, they are mostly ground-based. They live most of their life on the ground, preferring to, like if a predator comes, they'll usually prefer to run away. They walk from place to place to find foraging things. But they're actually pretty decent flyers. So if they need to, they will get up and they will fly, and they can fly pretty long distances. So they're not like weak little flyers like, you know, chickens can be or something like that. They're actually pretty quite capable. They just choose not to. They end up having to expend a little bit more energy to fly than some other of those good big soaring birds. But hey, not too bad. Not too bad. Now, there are actually pretty decent swimmers. They don't have the web feet like a duck or goose, but they can still swim in the water. And, you know, they're not going to be as fast as a duck or goose swimming through the water, but they still do pretty good. They're still pretty good swimmers. So very versatile. They can swim, they can run, they can fly, they can do it all. The Pukeko does it all. But you know, I was saying is that they really like to eat grasses and seeds. Yeah, so it turns out that being a grass and seed eater makes you not so much loved by farmers. And they have been known to go in and destroy crops and eat the seeds and stuff and ruin a good crop. So,
Oh no.
and the other thing is that their population is really, really high. There's tons of them. They're all over the place. So these fellas are absolutely 100% legal to hunt. And farmers are well within their rights to hunt these guys and kick them off their land. And most of the time they're hunted is just kind of for pest control or sport. But turns out that they're pretty tasty too. And that there are some recipes out there for roast Pukeko. So I guess if you live in New Zealand and you want to try... I've never had Pukeko. I've never been to New Zealand. I don't think these are eaten in many places outside of New Zealand. And
they'd have to transport it.
New Zealand is very far away. Yeah, I don't think there's enough demand in the United States for Pukeko meat for the imports to be worth the cost. Yeah. But now this bird is actually important in Maori and Polynesian legends. I misspelled Polynesian down there. I apologize. So like the color red was associated with nobility and power. So, you know, the red beak kind of said that this is a powerful big one. Let's see here. Some other things that I've read on things. So it's like Pukeko, known for their bold scheming and determination. In times past, they raided gardens for kumara, or sweet potato. A stubborn, annoying person was compared metaphorically to the bird and was said to have Pukeko ears. In mythology, the Pukeko is mentioned in Maori myth about how the kiwi lost her wings, in which several birds of the forest asked to come down from the trees to eat bugs on the ground, save the forest, but all gave excuses as to why they wouldn't do it. And the Pukekos gave an excuse is that it looks way too damp down there, and I don't want to get my feet wet. And so then the gods like punished them by forcing them to live in swamps and wetlands for the rest of their life. So I kind of like that. Some say the Pukeko is the spawn of the of Punga, who is the ancestor of sharks and reptiles, but was claimed by the relative Tauhaki. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff in Maori legend, and I'm not gonna be able to give it its proper due on here. But there's a lot of stuff in Maori legend about this bird, and I recommend going and checking that out on a few places. I just got a couple cliff notes there, but yeah, important bird, and like I can see that. Like if you lived in this here, this is like a native bird. I could see this bird being involved in all sorts of folklore. Well, I mean, of course it is. I love how birds get incorporated into folklore, and absolutely, I can see this bird, why this bird is so important. So, yeah, my thoughts. I like the Pukeko. They're a fascinating bird. What do you think, Dovely? What are your thoughts after hearing all that?
I like them. I like their big, strong feet.
Oh, he's big, strong legs, big powerful legs.
Yeah, I like their colors too.
Yeah, that good, vibrant dark blue is pretty, and then the red contrasts with it so nicely. And I love the little chicks. The chicks are so cute.
I love that the chicks have the big feet too.
They got the big feet. Yeah, and gotta point out again, because I have many times, they do not have knees that bend forward. Their knees are up close to their body, bending backwards, and the thing that bends forward is their ankle. Those are their ankles. They just got really, really long feet. A lot of people don't know that, but I always gotta say that. So yeah. Then these guys got just amazing ankles. Amazing feet. Great feet. Top tier feet. and they're pretty. They're cool, and I love that like they do the communal thing. I like when birds are very communal. I like when the whole flock comes together to make sure the chicks are fed and raised and protected. I think that's great. Unlike the birds where it's just like male and female mate, male buzzes off, female raises a couple chicks on her own, and that's it. I mean, come on, that's no good. That's no good. Raise your family. Raise your family. We like to Pukeko. Pukeko, you're one of my new favorites. You're up there. You're awesome. Not to the level of honorary Corvid, but you're still great. A tier bird. A tier bird. We love them. Anyway, let's go back to the studio.